Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Houston Fieldhouse. I think you can hear me. Just underway here, RPI and St. Cloud State University. First of a two-game series on the weekend. Thanksgiving weekend, couple 3 o'clock starts. The Engineers win the opening draw and shoot it down. Now back come the Huskies the other way. Perry Lascaris here with Dan Fridgen, coach, bringing you all the action of RPI hockey here in the 21-22 season. Loose puck in the slot, gloved at by Rampado. She made the save, but it tips into the corner. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Had some turkey, way too much mashed potatoes as a shot comes in from center ice. And today, more mashed potatoes today. Huskies move it in. Taylor Lind picked up by Lauren Severson for the Engineers. Pivots and lost the puck on the poke check. That's Lind again. From Shaunavon, Saskatchewan. As the puck sent back through, Severson to the line, shoots it wide a goal. Emma Paluzny is in net, grad student from Mound, Minnesota. And tending goal for the Engineers is Amanda Rampado back in there again after getting a bit of a breather against post. There's a solid hit thrown there by Wagner in the corner. A solid coming together. And the puck's back out to center ice. Julia Blitz just off the bench moves it in. Turned around here by the Huskies, who play in one of the toughest conferences in the country in the WCHA. It's probably between WCHA and ECAC hockey the two best leagues.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Speaking of the coaches before the game, Steve McDonald, and his assistant Janelle Sergey, they said that they play a very physical style out in the WCHA. I was watching the U.S.-Canadian national game on the weekend, and that was pretty physical.
You like to see that. You don't like to see the tic-tac body checking calls being called most of the time. Here's a giveaway in the zone. Quick shot and a save by Rampado on the right pad. And now another centering pass hits a skate. RPI has to limit those giveaways. Their record probably doesn't do them justice to how good a team this is that RPI is facing this afternoon. At 4-7, 4-7 and 1. Engineers come in at 5-10 on the year. Bit of a stick handle there from Audrey McCutcheon, gets away with it at her own blue line. Engineers trying to get it deep to get it changed. They get it to the line. Kicked at to be kept in by Hildner. And it's knocked off McCutcheon's stick out to center. Magdalena Erbinova picks it up there. Czech Republic national teamer sends it back for MJ Alexander. And Alexander gets it back.
I would imagine that this St. Cloud team would be from your favorite state.
You're very correct. As Sarah Buckvick throws a shot on goal. Yeah, I'll try to keep my allegiances to myself here this afternoon, Coach. I have been to St. Cloud a number of times. I've actually with the team, with RPI's women's team, when they went back in 2013. They went there for a 2-game series, actually swept the Huskies. RPI won the first 3 games of this series, but back in 2014, St. Cloud State came here and swept the Engineers. So neither of these two teams has won on home ice in the 5 games previously played.
I know we went out there and played a 2-game series out at St. Cloud. They play on an Olympic ice sheet.
That's exactly correct. I think I told you the story before, but St. Cloud men here was the first RPI game I ever saw as a student.
Yep.
But a strong hockey tradition in St. Cloud for hockey, as that puck's going to hop out of play. Shots are 2-2, 16-16 to go in the first period.
Couple of Husky teams in here this afternoon.
That's right. It makes it easy for me and you. I don't have to try to distinguish between the men and the women because Northeastern is here to play at 7 o'clock. 18th ranked Huskies taking on the RPI men in a home-and-home, actually. So there's only one game here on the men's side this weekend. Engineers moving into the zone. It's Kaiser. She takes a shot right on and no rebound allowed by Paluzny. Yeah, it makes it very easy. I can just say Huskies for the other team all night and I won't be wrong.
That's correct.
Ellie Kaiser with the shot there. Sophomore from Westmont, Illinois. 5 points in 14 games in her first season with the Engineers. Face-off win here for the Huskies. Shoot it off the wall and back all the way down. Race for the puck. Good speed being shown here by Emma Gentry. Beats out the icing. Sophomore from Alpena, Michigan. Now Lauren Severson lobs one to center ice. Knocked down, but not controlled by Kaiser. And now the Huskies have it in their own end. Intercepted at center ice by Wagner, RPI's top point getter. Centering pass, comes all the way through. Kaiser looking for a centering feed, trying to find Wagner, but it's cleared out on the other end by Yania Newland. Tap to the corner. Delaney Weiss now for RPI. Into the skate of Kaiser. She couldn't corral it, but Weiss can. Delaney Weiss all by herself in the attacking zone. Takes a shot that's blocked as Grace Wolf got in the way of it. Freshman from Owatonna, Minnesota. Coach, I'm going to have some fun here saying some Minnesota towns tonight.
Yeah.
You better believe it. Papineau trying to keep it alive at the line.
I was going to say, concentrate on those names and not the ones from Finland and the
Oh,
Czech
no,
Republic.
no. Sometimes I won't try, but yeah. Weslow with it. To the line, but not out. Kept in by Maddie Peterson, the lone Minnesotan on the Engineers squad. She's from Princeton. As that puck is shot into the net on a deflection. Face-off coming up in the St. Cloud zone. RPI with the early shot advantage. Coach, 4-2. Neither team has had a great, grade A scoring chance yet. Maybe on that giveaway there was a good shot, but Amanda Rampado is going to save those 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, so really hasn't been any sustained puck possession by either team at this point. Of course, we're only just about 5.5 minutes into the first period.
This is going to be played up the wall. To the line, McCutcheon keeps it in. Meg Hildner picked up her first collegiate point last time out against Post. It was an assist. RPI's 4-1 win. And now carried on out to center by the Huskies. It's shot off of Alexander. She does a nice job to control it. Trying to send it rink wide there, but it was broken up by a teammate. That was Devin Millwater, who was the extra D in the lineup for St. Cloud State. It's Millwater again, trying to lift it ahead. Gets to the RPI line. Good tie up there by Newland. And now Alexander hands it off. A little bit of pressure. Erbinova does a nice job to at least alleviate the pressure there and clear it to center ice. So she'll get it back again. Thrown through the middle. That's a giveaway. Should have been offside. They say there was no touch in the zone, so we play on. Happy to see we have 2 women's linesmen in today's game. There's a good tie-up of the stick on Newland by Buckvik. That's maybe a goal-saving play with the stick on the back check. Yeah, now another centering pass can be covered up by Rampado.
Yeah, she was just about to pull the trigger on that one, and Buckvik did a great job of tying up the stick and not allowing her to follow through on her shot. As she's the top point getter here on her team, Janina Newland.
Janina with 7 points in 10 games.
Actually, there's a couple more.
Yeah, there's a couple, but yeah, I was going to say,
Janina.
RPI hockey folks and ACHA RPI hockey fans might remember the name Borgeret. Mackenzie Borgeret, who's a sophomore here for the Huskies. Her older brother played club hockey here for RPI. Mitch is one of the all-time leading scorers in RPI ACHA history. I was talking the other day, he wanted to come back for the game, but of course, no outside fans are allowed. And Mitch, being an alum now, would not be allowed in the building. So, hello to Mitch and the Borgerets. Thanks for watching this weekend's games here. I know with the holiday, there's not going to be a lot of people in the building to begin with, but of course, it'd be nice to see a family member play in your home rink, especially if it's your sister. But watch out, because Borgeret's got a real nice shot. Has 4 goals and 4 assists already this season. Wearing number 10 for the Huskies. Now Severson to center. Lauren Severson makes a move, had it poked away, and now back comes Borgeret. Sending it wide. This is Savar, long shot, easy save for Rampado, and she'll hold on there. Back to the point, long shot, takes a deflection and goes wide. That might have come off a blitz who's flying the zone right now. Weiss will take a look. Hard off the wall from Dolby, poked away from Papineau. Engineers lose the puck in the zone as Bourgeois takes a long shot from the line. That's blocked. Peterson trying to scoop it up the boards. That's broken up. Peterson again, glove down at the line nicely by Skrdlova. And then we got a whistle here and a penalty. It's going to be a hold. So some sustained pressure here. Well, who did they get?
I think it might be
Savard. I thought it would have. Yeah, it is Savard. I thought it would be on Engineer from where the location of the penalty was called, but I must have missed the play. So it'll be holding on Olivia Savard, junior from Stonewall, Manitoba.
Yeah, just judging by her body language as she was headed to neutralized zone. You could tell she was headed to the penalty box.
Blitz, looking for a shooting lane, takes a shot, sticked away by Paluzny. RPI power play on the season is even 15%, 6 out of 40. They have their top power play shooter out there. Long shot comes in, saved by Paluzny, and she holds on there. Looked like she had a decent sight line at that. She's tapping the shin pads of her defense in front of her.
I'm thinking Kaiser might have got a tip on that in the slot
right.
area.
Well, she's having fun at least. Look at that smile. Yeah, you might be right on the tip. But again, there was no rebound. Blitz has 3 power play goals this year, Julia does. Of her 4 goals, and seemingly all have been big goals to either tie or give RPI the lead late in games. So this is, I guess, not one of those situations, but RPI would take a goal from her anyway. Her right-hand shot has been money from the top of the right circle, believe it or not. Coach has pointed that out a couple of times. Taking that shot from the strong-handed wing. Now, Erbinova steps right through a stick check and feeds it along. Shot deep by Blitz, who loses an edge and goes down. This will be rung around. Waiting for it on the near side is Lind. And kept in by Larson nicely. Severson hands it off. A shot by Wagner and caught in the glove by Paluzny. She's had to be solid so far. She hasn't given up any rebounds, and on the penalty kill, it's especially important.
Well, I'm not very good at judging height, but when I see somebody that looks pretty tall, she looks pretty tall, and they've got her listed as
5'9".
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not too far off. I remember Lavisa was listed at 5'10". And she's about the same height, so yeah. Papineau, shot blocked. Here is McCutcheon. Make that Papineau a shot, save made. Papineau again, trying to backhand it in front. It's cleared away. Dangerous area of the ice there for RPI, as it looked like Paluzny lost her stick for a moment, but was able to pick it up again after the puck was cleared.
Yeah, nobody was home in the slot, otherwise it had a good scoring opportunity.
Papineau, a shot, actually Hildner a shot and a save, and this time a rebound does fall. Hildner goes diving for it, but the whistle went as it was covered by Paluzny. These are decent looks on the power play for RPI.
Yeah, they get good scoring opportunities here with 16 seconds left and a person advantage.
The penalty kill for St. Cloud State, which I failed to tell you earlier, comes in at just under 90%. Here's a long shot. 88 and change for the PK. It's pretty good. Here's Dolby. Penalty about to expire. Sends it back door. Looking for Capel. Is poked out of play with 1 second to go on the power play. It was a good idea there. Capel, left-hand shot waiting on the top or the bottom of the far circle over there.
Yeah, she would have had a one-timer, but Grace Wolf had her stick active, using the stick real well and taking away that passing lane, just deflecting that puck up over into the stands.
1 second on the power play. See if RPI can win the draw cleanly here and get a shot. They do, but out of the box now. Shot comes in, blocked again as Hannah Price took that one. This will ring around. Nia Phillip the first one to it. She's pinned up with some help from Capel, or make it Buckvick rather. They continue to scrap over there as Dale Ross wins it back, but the Engineers have it again. Dolby rings it around. Pinching is Hannah Price, who picked up her second career goal last time out against Post. Takes a hit here. Bourgerie trying to clear. That's broken up. And now Capel has it pinned up again. Engineers just eating up offensive zone time, although it's pinned up in the corner. Finally dug out by RPI. Back to the point for Price. A long shot sticked away by Paluzny. And to center ice it goes. Newland. Or make that Savar rather took the shot. That's broken up. Savar again. Hands it off for Himyalarva. Now a shot comes in. That's turned away by Rampado. Swept back into the corner by Millwater. Dalby to center. Good connection to Phillip. On for Peterson. Maddie Peterson, a low shot, sticked away rather easily there by Paluzny. And now it's shot into the bench and over the bench, out of play. 8:02 left here in period number 1. We'll have a media stoppage now. Shots are 11-8 Engineers.
We thank you for your support. RPI Women's Hockey.
Hi, I'm Lily Fries Hansen. On behalf of RPI Women's Hockey, have a safe holiday.
Fans, if you can't make it to a home game, you can still watch it live on RPI TV. All RPI men's and women's home hockey games will be webcast on RPI TV's YouTube channel and ESPN+. Visit RPIathletics.com for more information.
Ready to go here out of our media timeout. Puck loose at center. Severson has it for RPI. Poked away from her. Again, Erbinova fires it into the bench. She might have seen one of her Czech teammates, and there's two more of them. We saw a couple of Czech players. Actually, neither were in the lineup against Colgate. But there's two more women from the Czech Republic in the lineup here for St. Cloud State. And I don't think that's what Erbinova was trying to do, but I think she gave it a laugh afterwards. Alexander fed in for Kaiser. Quickly turned around by the Huskies. Sent up the wall there by Cornelius. And now Alexander. Kaiser shoots it off the foot of the linesman, gets it back, takes a shot, and that one just goes wide. And it's back out to center for Erbinova. Severson makes a move, lost it. Sent back the other way by Nicole Ness, sophomore from Apple Valley, Minnesota. Ness again. Tried to pull it back, lost it. There were plenty of Engineers in the area to break it up. Sent along. Papineau had it broken up at the line. Engineers trying to change. Blitz will shoot it deep. Stopped behind the net there by Paluzny. Now she'll play it. Lind, touch pass off the boards into a dangerous area. Chase Sperling had to help out. Now scooped along. Good vertical there by Taylor Larson, although she might have just iced it. And it's going to be just barely be icing here. Good ups though from Taylor.
Yes, definitely. Surprised they called that. It was pretty close. One more stride would have negated an icing call.
For sure. Shots are 11-8 RPI, thanks in part to that power play. Kept in at the blue line by Newland. Backhand centering pass from Lind. That was broken up. Again, Lind throws it into the middle. Backhand shot saved by Rampado, as it was Emma Gentry crashing the net. She has 6 goals on the year already in 12 games. RPI is able to shoot it down. Played behind by Wolf. RPI putting the forecheck pressure on, but the puck pops free. Out to center. Some speed for Newland. And they're just offside as Wolf, the defender, was trying to join the play. And she came in a little too hot. I think Newland also pulled up right at the line, and it traded in offside.
Yeah, anytime you slow down crossing that offensive blue line when you have teammates with you, 9 times out of 10 you're going to throw them offside. Your best to keep that speed going, get inside the blue line, and then make your play.
Neutralized draw here. Face-off win for the Engineers. Alexander into the skates of Erbinova. Now she'll move it along. Bouncing puck knocked out of the air. Phillip thought she found it, but it was steered away. Savar. Buckfit goes down. Now Phillip with a hit at neutral ice. Let the Huskies stay on it. Good poke check there, as Himlarova was separated from the puck, and now nice stick handle in her own zone by Ross, and a good find on the far wing. Klara Himlarova threw it back to the point. Quick shot blocked and handled by Erbinova. And now Magdalena moves it to center, trying to feed it into the zone, finds McCutcheon. Audrey McCutcheon with 5 goals on the year already in her first campaign with the Engineers. Of course, she's just a freshman from Saint Jean-sur-Richelieu, Quebec. Now to the point, Larson, long shot, and that one's spilled by Paluzny, but only her defenders there to clean it up.
I think that shot took Paluzny by surprise. She didn't catch it until it was off her belly pad.
Yeah, I was thinking that one of her defenders in front of may have tipped it or maybe didn't tip it, and either way, just kind of caught her eye there. She didn't see it maybe all that cleanly. There was no RPI stick in the way. Anyway, Sperling has it now at center, makes a move, poked away by Wagner. Hannah Price, junior D from Pittsburgh, sends it along nicely to Severson. Into the middle, Wagner trying to jump in. Wagner to the net, takes a shot, and that one's off the stick of Paluzny. Into the corner. Another centering pass right out in front. Severson trying to steer it on goal. I don't think she did.
No, she was tied up there pretty well by the Wiley, the defenseman.
Now thrown through center, and this will be icing on the Huskies, but good little back and forth there. You can see what that second grouping can do. Severson, Wagner, Kaiser. A little bit of a shuffling of the lines for Coach Vines tonight. You get Maddie Papineau back in there. Only her 5th game, but she's got a couple of points. Peterson's off her center spot, playing on the wing with Blitz and Papineau. So a couple of change-ups from the last time we saw RPI play 10 days ago. Nice keep at the line by Dalby, fired it wide of the goal. Skrdlova shoots it around, kept in by Dalby. Now it pops out to center. Peterson has it for Weiss. Around for Papineau, into the middle. Little give and go from Kaiser. Papineau again, sends it back to the line. That'll elude Weiss and all the way down. Erbinova has to take a look because speeding after her is Lind. But she escapes, but now she's double teamed, lost the puck. Back to help out is Blitz. Weiss, Peterson, Papineau. Good passing here by RPI, just into the zone. It's poked away from Blitz. Out of the net to play it is Paluzny. Now it's kept in at the line again. This time by Erbinova. Skrdlova Blitz. Peterson. Good possession from RPI. Pinching is Alexander. Keeps it alive and shoots it down low. Blitz again. Trying to center. Right down the middle. Peterson a shot save. Rebound loose. Another stop. The puck is still loose, and finally we get a whistle. RPI had 3 cracks at that, including Papineau in the end. A sprawling save was made by Paluzny.
That was a good save. Took a little while to corral the puck, but it was wide open. A couple of RPI forwards took a whack at it. And we're going to have a penalty here. Actually,
and it's going to be Yania Newland going to the box.
Yeah, matching minors.
Is it matching? I didn't see an RPI. Oh, yeah, there is an RPI player in there.
Yeah, you've got Newland. I don't know if that was 27 or 28. 28, Papineau. Well, this will open up the ice a little bit with some 4-on-4 hockey.
Play a little 4-on-4.
Penalties assessed at 17 minutes 46 seconds. Number 81.
That's broken up at the line, and the whistle will go for offside. There's a 13-second difference between the game clock and the penalty clocks for both the penalties to Papineau for RPI and Newland for the Huskies. Puck's tied up in the corner. Larson scoops it along. Chopped at but not cleared by Severson. Now Larson has it again for the Engineers. Taylor Larson, long pass to the line. They move it in. Wagner waiting for help. Takes a shot. Save made by Paluzny. And now Millwater. Huskies want to skate. It's Lind. Dropping it into the middle. A shot over the top. Rebound to the near side, and that's shot again high by Lind.
I don't know if Lampato even saw that shot.
I don't know if she did. It was kind of a spinorama there. Now Wagner chips it out to center. Chase Sperling, the first one there. Stolen away by Severson. RPI's at the end of a shift. And Wagner, we thought about maybe making a break for it there, actually just goes off to leave the ice.
Had Severson moved it right away to Wagner, she probably would have had a breakaway, but like you say, at the end of the shift.
Now Phillip 2-on-2 into the zone. Buckvick lifts one over the top. Kind of scooped at that one. Phillip, 30 to go in the period. Long shot, hits Buckvick. Never got to goal. Shot around behind. Skrdlova. Now Allie Cornelius into the zone. Cornelius trying to walk around Buckvick. She's pinned against the wall. Both teams out of the box. Back to 5-on-5 with 7 seconds to go in the period. Erbenova trying to stick handle out of a crowd. Now trying to walk it in front, and we get a whistle as the horn goes as well. And RPI kind of saved by the bell there as they were in trouble to end that period. As it stands, no score after 20 minutes. What are you, Coach?
I was going to say something, but
yeah,
there was a little screeching there.
Yeah, that's okay.
I was going to say, yeah, that was saved by the bell because that puck was still free.
Yeah.
And, of course, the horn ended the period.
Shots in the period were 16-10 RPI, but 5 of RPI shots came on their lone power play chance. So we thought they got some good looks. We had a little 4-on-4 action there. Nothing quite came of that, but we did see some more space to work with. as we'll be back with the second period in just a bit. You're watching RPI Hockey on RPI TV and ESPN.
Supporter of RPI Athletics, and we welcome all RPI fans to tonight's game.
Second period of play here, RPI and St. Cloud State from the Houston Fieldhouse. No score so far. Shots were 16-10 RPI in the first period. Helped out by the only power play of the game. Face-offs in the first as it's shot to the point. Around behind, this is Borgery trying to center it again. Top of the circle, quick shot, that's blocked. Rebound steered in front. Third try goes wide on the try by Savar. Huskies are on the attack here. Buckvick throws a hip check into Borgery. Now Gentry. Another shot, that one's blocked. Erbinova's gonna clear, sending it ahead to Buckvick. And RPI finally able to break out of their own end.
Yeah, Borgery, she's had quite the first period. She had 3 shots on goal.
Face-offs were 10-10. I don't know why it took me so long to find it. I've seen stat sheets before. We got an icing call here on the Huskies. Send it back the other way.
Both Wagner and Papineau for RPI had 3 shots on goal each that first period as well for RPI.
Shot comes in, hit the skate of Severson. Now a quick shot there by Kaiser, and that one hit Newland. And again it's cleared down. Lind on her horse, but Larson's gonna beat her down the ice. Another icing here.
Yeah, she had a little bit too much on that. I think she was trying to indirect it into the neutral zone, but as I mentioned, got a little bit too much and sends it down the ice for an icing. Offensive zone face-off for RPI.
Face-off in the zone, quick shot, that's takes a redirection, goes wide. Now Wagner goes down and the penalty's coming up here. May have been inadvertent, but it's gonna be a trip. And it'll send the Engineers back on the power play.
Yes, Newland going in the box for St. Cloud State.
So a second power play chance here for RPI. See what they can do on this one. Blitz trying to walk her way in. Savar slaps it out of the zone. Himlarova now has it just pinned up against the wall, just trying to waste some time. And does a good job of that. RPI finally able to separate her from the puck and move it ahead. Severson forces it into the zone. And another chance to clear here for the Huskies. Savar takes it back behind the goal and still is able to get it out as it squeaked right by Blitz. Erbinova getting hooked a bit by her fellow Czech national in Himlarova. Finally, RPI goes backwards with it.
I was going to say, she has to be very careful. She's the last line of defense trying to handle that puck.
Stick handle, yeah, we've seen the Engineers not mind stick handling the puck in their own zone, but it can be dangerous. Now Severson moves it ahead all by herself. Good play defensively by Allison Green, the sophomore from Anchorage, but they can't clear the zone. Blitz, a long shot, looking for that top corner, fired it high. Wagner taps it back to the point. Nice move there by Larson. Now Papineau, slot shot! That one screams over the top as it's tied up behind the goal. 34 seconds to go on the power play. And McCutcheon can't keep the zone.
Hildner was in front of the net there providing a screen. I think she did a real good job. Puck just went wide of the net.
18 to go on the power play. Papineau goes cross ice with it. Trying to chip it into the middle for Janke, and back out to center it goes. Now Lynn just off the bench takes a shot and a good shoulder save by Rampado. That puck was labeled.
Yeah, that was. Her timing had to be perfect there when she went down to the butterfly.
So back to 5-on-5, centering pass out in front, and Lynn just fanned on it. Looked like she tried to wail at it. Now it'll leave the zone again. Kept alive by Wolf. Huskies have to touch up, and they don't. 16-11 to go, second period. Got some action at both ends. RPI on the power play. Then right after the penalty expired, the Huskies had a chance, a couple of them the other way.
Yeah, that was almost a tic-tac-toe play. She was coming on to, Lind was coming on the back door. And Newland just missed connecting on a one-timer, which would have come off the stick.
Here is Phillip for RPI, sends it back to the point. Dalby throws it off the end boards, picked up by Capel. Michaela Capel from Dawson Creek, British Columbia, sends it back to the point. It's past Price and all the way down. And Rampado will play it there. Here's Dalby. Lost it to Gentry, but Buckvik does a nice job to win it back. Shoots it off the boards for Capel. Good connection to Phillip. Phillip into the zone, trying to drive wide. Backhand shot. That one sticked away. Defender got in the way of that was the captain, Kenzie Wiley. Now we got a penalty here and oh, maybe it's a puck play with a high stick.
Yeah. Actually, I thought that was okay.
Yeah? You didn't think it was too high?
No, I didn't think it was over the shoulders at all.
So far, so good from the officials today, have to say. Referees are Daniel Goslin and Ryan Chauvin. And Stephanie Search and Erica DiErico are the linesmen. Here's a shot and a goal! Maddie Peterson! Second of the year for the Princeton, Minnesota native. And she scores against the team from Minnesota St. Cloud State. It's 1-0.
Well, that started right off the face-off. A great win by RPI. And, of course, Peterson rolling from the flank on her forehand, just took it to the middle of the ice. She had traffic in front of the net. I don't think Paluski saw it at all. And RPI is up 1-0.
So 1-0 Engineers. Fed along for Lily Fries-Hansen, who missed the last 6 games for RPI, but it was for a good cause. She was overseas in Germany with their Danish national teammates, qualifying for the 2022 Olympics in Beijing. So RPI happy to have Fries-Hansen back. Senior from Lyngby, Denmark, has 4 assists on the year in 9 games. So Fries-Hansen actually picks up her 5th assist of the year on that play, giving RPI a 1-0 lead. Delaney Weiss tied up in the corner. We'll see what kind of pushback we get from the Huskies. Borgery back to the point. Long shot save, Rampado, no rebound. He's able to cover that one up. Rampado didn't play, remember, against Post. It was the collegiate debut for Emily Venn, who came about 3 minutes away from a shutout in her first collegiate game. Ended up giving up a goal. RPI won it 4-1. Wasn't tested too much. I think she only had about 13 saves. Loose puck side of the net, jammed at. Rampado made a tight angle save, and the rebound is thrown back in the middle, picked away by Wagner. Sent back through center. Savar, wide, shot. That one's blocked by Tegan Dalby. Dalby sends it behind for Weiss. And she'll take a look up. Off the stick of Kaiser back to center. Turned around by Skrdlova. And now sent through the middle by Delaney. Poked away by Severson. Kept alive by Papineau. Sperling shoots it ahead, but it's picked right away by the goal scorer, Peterson. Maddie Peterson skating with some fire here. Already has that goal. Now she tries to chase it down. Good play to create some space behind the net now, and a good outlet pass to Lind. Taylor Lind into the zone, pulls it up. Drops it off for Gentry, but it was poked off her stick. Cycling down low for Lind again. Centering pass off of Rampado, goes back into the corner. Now to the point. Kept in there by Ross. Lind, Gentry, centering pass, that's broken up again. Good stick by Larson. Long shot, tipped in a goal. Emma Gentry on the redirection, and it's 1-1.
Well, we had a perfect view of that. That was just a simple play of getting the puck to the net. Gentry getting her stick on it and knocking it down, going 5-hole on Rampado. Who unfortunately didn't have her stick in the right position as it went 5-hole on her. And
yeah, shot was going about middle of her chest probably, and Gentry did what you're supposed to. And sent that right to the ice, right through the legs, icing here.
So that's a quick response by St. Cloud.
Yeah. Goal for Gentry is her 7th of the year and 12th of her collegiate career, sophomore from Alpena, Michigan.
St. Cloud goal was scored by number 20, Emma Gentry. She was assisted by number 23, McKenna Westlow, and by number 13, Taylor.
Now a puck goes towards the middle, sticked away.
46 seconds. St. Cloud goal scored by 20, Gentry. From 23, Westlow.
Fries Hansen went down in the corner, but the puck comes loose to center. Weslow moving it in, threw it through the middle, nobody home. Now turning up ice are the Engineers. Hildner gets knocked down at center, but moves it on for Alexander, who just shoots it in. Ellie Anderson, freshman from Fergus Falls, Minnesota, plays it to the RPI line. Phillip couldn't find it. Ross could and moves it in. Weiss, she's bottled up. Jam try at the side of the net. It'll be cleared to the line, but not out. Kept in by Addie Scribner. Now Buckvick sends it up the wall. That's broken up. Gets it back. Buckvick on the move. Buckvick into the slot. A shot. That's blocked. And moved out by Borgery. Nice move by Savar. Savar into the attacking zone. Hops off the stick of Himlarova as it's fed around to the corner. Himlarova goes down in the corner, picked up by Weiss. Weiss tries to throw it through the middle. Was it touched? No. Icing on RPI with 11:33 to go in the second period. Both teams have scored in the frame. Coach, maybe that'll open things up just a little bit here.
Yeah, that breakout pass had a lot of mustard on it. A little bit too much for the RPI forward to handle. Went right by her down the ice for an icing.
Draw here as Borgery is being scolded in the face-off dot. Severson chips it off the boards, race for the puck, and Borgery is the first one to it. Sophomore from St. Michael, Minnesota. Shot right on and a save. That was Savar. Rampado made the save, but it popped away. Good block there by Severson. Caught all of that one. Savar sends it across, broken up. Kaiser. And Ellie Kaiser feeds it ahead, too far for Severson's reach. Turned around by Newland. Savar. Drop pass. Newland to drive, and that one goes just wide. Good strength on the puck there. Newland again. Looks for the wrap. Nothing there. Keeps on circling the zone. Newland, drop pass, one-timer, Sperling and a shot. Sperling, excuse me, and that's held on to by Rampado.
Yeah, good play by Newland. She didn't just throw that puck away, circling the net. Bringing all the defenders with her, and that opens up for a nice shot on goal by the defenseman, Weslow.
Huskies have taken over the shots on goal advantage, 18-17. As we've seen a lot more open play here in the second period than we did in the first. Other than the RPI power play, it was pretty tightly checked. There wasn't a lot of opportunities. Tight angle shot thrown all the way through as Newland was trying to tip that in with whatever she could. The puck was in the air. Quick shot there, glove stop, Rampado. Lynn trying to throw it off Rampado, and she has it pinned between the legs. It was a good idea from Lynn. You see players try that a lot when the goalie's not necessarily in position, trying to throw it off their back, but Rampado made the stop.
Yeah, the old ricochet shot.
Look at it.
Well, this is a nice shot right here. Good glove
This is what I'm talking about here.
Yep.
That's all she's trying to do is throw it off Rampado.
Bank shot.
Nice look by our RPI TV crew on that one on the replay. RPI finally able to break the center. They wave off the icing early. McCutcheon being a little aggressive with the stick. Has to be careful there as the puck trickles out to center. Erbinova. Alexander up the wall. Nice pass for Fries Hansen. As Lilly tries to track it down, it's poked to the corner. Kept in nicely by Rihanna Janke. She's the only Janke in the lineup tonight. With Mika taking a seat here. Gentry. A lot of size on this top line for St. Cloud State. Everybody's over 5'7". Gentry's listed at 5'10". Ross fakes a shot. May not have been a fake. She might have dismissed it, but faked me out anyway. Now, Weiss.
Almost faked herself out.
As Phillip runs into one of the Huskies at center ice. There's a loose glove out there. First one to this is Nicole Ness. She's wrapped up by Alexander, but Alexander let go at just the right time. Cornelius out of the corner, trying to make a move. Broke it up nicely there. Now it's backhanded into the middle. Don't want to do that. Green cycling down low. Stolen away by Weiss. Ahead past Phillip. And controlled at center by Millwater. Cornelius. Stolen away by Buckvick. Buckvick tries to make a move at center. And Ross jumps in. Puck just kind of pinballing around between the blue lines here. Finally, Kaiser takes a look up ice, and she'll dump it in, and it'll roll around behind the net. Borgeret. Stolen away by Kaiser. Tap it back to the point. Dolby, a shot that's blocked. Wagner trying to track it down. Gets run into by Ross. And we got a penalty coming up here. It's going to be a body check. And I think she knew it right away because Ross skates right over to the box. And from what I saw, it looked like more of the same from this game, Coach. But they called this one, which I tend to not like that.
Yeah, that was inconsistent with what they were calling in the first period. I didn't think it was that bad of a hit.
Right. Well, when it's like we said, they were letting that kind of play go, and then they called one, and it kind of throws something in the back of the mind of everyone's head, like, wait, that was a body check? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yep.
But, refs are human, so.
Well, they're down there, too. Sound
right.
Made a nice sound of the boards, and a lot of times sound will sell a penalty.
Even on men's and women's hockey, whether it's a boarding or something along those lines, you're right. Just where you hit on the wall can have a lot to say, with that kind of call.
Yeah, and the referee was standing right there.
Yeah,
so.
Maybe the proximity to the play maybe affected it too. You never know. But we do have our first body check and call of the game. So the Engineers will have their third power play. They're 0 for 2 so far. But Dale Ross went right to the box. There was no complaint whatsoever.
Well, I think it was one of those borderline plays where, all right, if you get let go, you get let go. But if you don't, and you hear the whistle, you know what? Guess what? Okay, you got me.
Right. So RPI gets another chance here to try and take a lead. Pretty big spot in this game. Still a lot of hockey left, but the way this one's been going, any kind of advantage you can get here, especially on special teams, will help you out. Here's a long shot. Save made. Rebound loose in the slot. It'll be cleared to the line. Kept in by Erbinova. That was Blitz with that opportunity. She likes to shoot the puck. We've seen it plenty of times already this year. Knocked down in the corner. Kaiser sends it up the wall. Wagner. Good strength on the puck from Mara. Makes a move. Former Robert Morris Colonial sends it back to the point. Blitz, circle, wrist shot blocked. Gets it back, Blitz again, another shot sticked away. Never got to goal. Savar trying to clear, but it Rolls around to Blitz, who lifts it and goes behind the net. Skrdlova clears. Now Erbinova. Erbinova on the move. Got hooked a bit by Savar, but knocked the stick out of Savar's hand. Severson across. Blitz, a shot blocked again. Severson can't knock down a bouncing puck. Halfway through the power play. Shot comes in. Wagner hit the outside of the iron.
Nice shot.
Wagner again. Up top, Erbinova. Long shot. That one caught the right pad of Paluzny. It'll roll around to the corner. Blitz. RPI changes one behind the play. Blitz, a shot pad save. Larson for Blitz again. Down low. Severson got tripped up. Puck comes free to the point. Janke there just off the bench to keep it alive. McCutcheon. RPI's made a change while keeping the puck in the offensive zone. That hops off the stick of McCutcheon, kept in by Papineau. Now Hildner up the boards. Chance for St. Cloud to clear, and no, a good stick tie up there by Hildner. And the penalty is over. RPI still on the attack, however, as Ross comes out of the box, working it down low for Janke. Touch pass in front. Jam try there from Hildner, didn't get all of it. And now Ross a chance to clear. Nice find there. Savar. She'll chip it in, and St. Cloud will make a change. Ross was in the penalty box, so she'll go in on the forecheck. Broken up at the RPI line, kept in. Cornelius, a shot that's blocked. Rebound, backhand shot, save Rampato, and it's held on to. That was Scribner, the junior from Woodbury, Minnesota, looking for her third goal of the year. Didn't get it as Rampato laid that paddle down and her pads down to cover the lower half of the net.
Yeah, I think here's a good another look at it. Save, well, actually block and goes to the side, and she has to force to take it on her backhand.
1-1 game still. RPI 0 for 3 on the power play. Phillip trying to track down a loose puck at center. Carried on further by Buckvick till it's stripped away from her. Engineers stay on side. And it'll be Scribner again to the rescue. Moving it out to the RPI blue line. Dalby ahead. In for Capel. Capel. Nia Phillip put it wide. Good connection there, Coach.
Yeah, that's too bad. She was in a perfect position, just didn't get all of it.
Phillip trying to cycle now. Nia still looking for that elusive first career goal. She nearly had it there. She keeps putting herself in a good spot, so you have to think it's coming.
Yeah, she works real hard. Good skater, good strong skater.
Puck back to center now. It's Cornelius lifting it in. RPI with a narrow 21-20 shot advantage as we continue to play a 1-1 game. Stolen away at neutral ice. Scribner, good back check by Peterson. Doesn't clear the zone, however. It's Gentry. Gentry trying to walk her way in, and she gets taken down by Alexander. And St. Cloud State's going to go on its first power play of the game with 4:08 to go in the second period.
Well, I don't know if that negated a scoring opportunity, but she was on her forehand, rolling. Looked like she was going to take a shot.
Yeah, that's not the worst penalty to take, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You just got to be moving your feet there. That's what caused the penalty. She was standing still while Gentry was moving. That's Alexander.
Yes.
She was kind of still, not moving her feet and kind of got her stick caught up. It just looks worse than it is just about every time. So a stick penalty here against RPI. Power play time for the Huskies. Try to jam it across for Scribner. That's broken up. Now a quick shot there, blocked by Price, as it was Gentry trying to jam it in again. Second-ranked penalty kill in the nation for RPI. They're getting tested here. Newland sends it up top. Wolf. Scribner, broken up by Price. Engineers have killed off 49 of 51 on the year. That's 96.1%. Only Ohio State has a better PK than RPI.
Speaking of Ohio State, they beat St. Lawrence in women's hockey today, 5-2.
That's a big game. Now Newland does almost a full lap before sending it back to Wolf. Across Scribner. Low shot saved by Rampado. Rebound pops away. Larson trying to clear. Didn't get enough on it to leave the zone. Scribner again into the skates of Price, and it'll be covered up by Rampado. 47 to go on the power play here for St. Cloud. Huskies power play just 8.1% on the year, 3 for 37. But remember, they play most of their games. All but 2 of their games have been playing the WCHA. And you got some of the top teams in the country there. It's going to skew your PK and power play really in the wrong direction. Their PK's actually been very good.
Yeah, they have been.
But you factor in the teams they've played, this is going to leave the zone. So tough luck there for RPI. They looked like they had cleared the zone, but that one went out of play, so the faceoff will come back in their own end. I mean, look at the teams they've played. Wisconsin, #1 in the country, Ohio State, Minnesota State, Gophers. The only 2 teams that you might think they have a chance to open up that power play will be Lindenwood, from Missouri, and St. Thomas, who's a first-year program.
Yeah. Well, they've had some good looks here early in the power play.
But you got to give credit to St. Thomas for how quickly they've built their women's program. Because St. Cloud only got 1 point out of that weekend with the Tommies. There's another penalty here. Interference is the call. And it's going to go on St. Cloud State, so they'll do it for the power play.
Ness is going to go to the box.
Yeah. We've seen that a lot in the last 5-10 years, the interference on the face-off.
St. Cloud penalty to number 26, Nicole Ness. She receives 2 minutes for interference.
So the penalty's over. We're 4-on-4 here.
26 of St. Cloud Ness.
Or excuse me, not over. The penalty's been added. Now back come the Huskies, Millwater. Sent back to the point. That puck came off the back of the goal. Everyone kind of turned around and no one looked for the puck. Finally, Arbinova has it. RPI playing in slow motion here. Blitz. Shoots it up the wall. And it'll be broken up there. RPI trying to change here. 46 to go on the power play with not much going on. Cornelius shoots it to the RPI line. It's picked off by Larson. She goes back to Papineau. This abbreviated power play has engineers a bit confused, seems like. Now they move it in quickly. And a good chance there. Jenkins centered it. Papineau, 20 to go in the power play. Back up top. Papineau, a shot and a mask save made. Cleared to the line. Papineau sends it across. McCutcheon a drive, and that one's blocked as well. 4 to go on the power play. Larson trying to track it down. Severson a long shot, sticked away by Paluzny. RPI now 0 for 4 on the power play. Severson has it broken up at the line. Papineau walking her way in, a wrist shot save, and the rebound falls to the ice and is cleared. 15 seconds to go in the period. It pops loose. This is Ness trying to walk around Alexander. Good defensive effort there by MJ. And it'll be cleared out to center with 2. And that will do it for period number 2. Both teams pick up a goal. The shots on goal pick up in the frame, and it's 1-1 after 2.
Papineau with a good shift there right before the end of the period. Had a couple of real good opportunities, just missed shooting high on the goaltender for St. Cloud State, Palousny.
That'll do it for us here in the press box. 1-1 after 2. We'll pick up the third in just a bit. You're watching RPI Hockey on RPI TV and ESPN. Ready to go here in the third period of play. RPI and St. Cloud State from the Houston Fieldhouse. Game 1 of 2 on the weekend between these two teams. St. Cloud State out of the WCHA. RPI, of course, from ECAC Hockey. Live here on RPI TV and ESPN Plus. As this is going to be icing against the Huskies. Just 18 seconds in. 1 goal each in the second period. Maddie Peterson gave RPI a brief lead at 4:42. And then at 6:46, it was Emma Gentry scoring for the Huskies, bringing us to our even 1-1 tally. Both of these teams are right back in action tomorrow. 3 o'clock. Larson, a long shot and a pad save. Loose puck sticked away by Paluzny. Now another shot comes in, hit off of Severson. Wagner back to the point. Price feeding it down low, gets a tip from Severson, still loose in the slot. Finally, Himlarova will clear it out. Price will carry it right back in and chase on her own. Tapped around by Wiley. And now carried on further by Sperling. She gets roughed up by Price and goes down. Larson for the Engineers, lobbing it through the middle. It was broken up by Newland. Now sent cross ice. Tapped along for Lind. Newland has it broken up. Sent back to center. Here's Peterson for RPI. Stolen away in the end by Sturlova. And now Newland makes a move into the slot. Newland turning and shooting. She scores! I think it was already in. Lind made sure. And it's 2-1 St. Cloud State, just a minute and a half into the third period.
Yeah, she made a good play here coming across into the zone, into the slot area, and goes to her forehand. It looks like it just went off the glove of Rampato.
Yeah, she got a piece of it, but I'm pretty sure it hit the back of the net and popped out. And then Lind hit it a second time. You don't get credit for that. I'm not sure what's being discussed here.
Well, that's what forwards like to do. If they're a left shot coming down the right side, they like to go to their forehand as much as possible.
It's Newland's goal. I'm not sure what's being talked about here. Coach Vines doesn't seem to be all that interested. Maybe offside? I don't know. Here's another look at the goal. It looked clean at the line. It goes off of Rampato. That might have hit the crossbar after looking at it again, but it was swept into the net anyway. So it might be Lind's goal. I'm not sure it matters. I mean, as far as the grand scheme of things. For the official scorer, yes. Well, they're going to look at it. Okay.
Well, the net didn't come off, or was
no,
nobody hit the net off.
No.
The only thing they might be looking at is maybe entry into the zone, is whether or not here's the entry right here.
It could be on the. This looks pretty clean.
Oh yeah,
that's cut and dry.
Yeah, no question there.
That's a good look from our replay crew. Now, like I said, I thought the puck hit the back of the net off of Rampato's glove, but in second look, it might have hit the crossbar, but. Like I said, it doesn't matter because Lind was there to tap it in.
Exactly. That was a real
There
good.
It goes up. Yeah, it might just tap the crossbar there, which is fine. But there's Lind to just sweep it into the net.
That was a good play by Newland.
Yeah.
The defense for RPI actually gave her the space that she took on her forehand. Normally you would want to give more space behind since she's a left shot, force her to her backhand, but she stayed strong and basically gave her the space for her to skate on her forehand and get that shot away.
So I think it's going to be Lind's goal in the end. But like I said, I'm not sure what purpose the replay is for. We'll see, I guess. Maybe we'll get a verification on what they're even looking at. It's a good goal, which we assumed all along. Anyway, 2-1 St. Cloud. They take their first lead of the game. RPI wins the ensuing draw, and let's go back on the attack. McCutcheon lost it for a moment, but gets it deep. McCutcheon steers one wide of goal. Here is Lily Fries-Hansen back to the point. Weiss had it broken up, and now a chance to break for the Huskies as Lind again. Weiss trying to get back into position. And now Dolby using her body well in the corner. McCutcheon up the boards. Fries-Hansen chipping it further. Turned around by Gentry. Newland. Long shift for her. She scored or had the primary assist on the goal. Now a backdoor feed. Saved by Rampado. And the rebound is put wide by Gentry.
Gentry was somewhat tied up there. Couldn't get a good shot off.
Weiss to center. Lobbing it high in the air. It'll come down in the corner. RPI will change all 5. Shots are 25 apiece as the Huskies ice it here. Still a long way to go. 17-10 left in the third period. We'll see more late game heroics from the Engineers as Michaela Capel is going to give one of the Huskies her stick back. That was nice. Draw coming up in the Huskies' end. One back to Ross. Buckvik trying to jump on it, but it's picked up by Green. Green shoots it off the glass and in deep. And it's going to be icing here. Must have been just before the red line as St. Cloud State has iced it again.
That'll set up an offensive zone face-off for the Engineers.
Face-offs in the game are 29-15 RPI. Wow. They were 10-10 at one point. Long shot, Alexander, that hits a skate and goes just wide. Good connection to center. Scribner pulls it back on the far side. That was Cornelius, took a shot. Into the skates of Erbinova. Ross. And now Larson. She lost her glove, but keeps on trucking behind the net. Or Kaiser, that is. There's a shot and a rebound, and it's going to be covered. A couple of Engineers on the doorstep, including Kaiser without a glove. And she's back on her feet. Peterson was there as well. RPI trying to jam one in.
Yeah, that was a good play. You got 2 on the doorstep. Goaltender's got to hold on to this. Otherwise, if there's a rebound, you got 2 RPI players licking their chops.
Peterson got decked there. That's what
that's
the price you pay.
I was just going to say, hey, that's prime real estate.
You're going to go in there. Savar feeding it towards the net, sticked away by Rampado into the net. 4 minutes gone here in the third. St. Cloud State has taken a 2-1 lead. This has been a lot like most of RPI's games this year. 1 goal each way, seemingly, in the third period. Whether it's been St. Cloud here or number 5 Colgate when they were here a few weeks ago. Cornell was a 1-goal game. Long shot, save Rampado. And Papineau shoot it around, but it's past Price. Keeping it alive was Himlerova. Now to the point. Millwater across. Shot in by Wiley. It'll ring all the way around. Savar takes a bump from Peterson. She goes down. Peterson still digging for it. Worked out by Borgery. Mackenzie Borgery twisting and turning along the wall. Throws it into the middle. Himlerova sent back to the point. Good find. Himlerova shot. Oh, and a left toe saved by Rampado.
That was a real good save by Rampado. Great reaction.
Engineers shoot it down, so it remains a 1-goal game. Thanks to the left leg of Rampado, the junior netminder from Stony Creek, Ontario. Great numbers as she has throughout her career, despite not winning a game her freshman year back in 2019-20. She's kept up a pretty solid career save percentage, goals against average. She's .923 right now in her career. .934 on the season. Of course, picking up wins this year, 4 of them, excuse me. Also a couple shutouts to her credit. She's 4-10 this season. Now in front. Oh, and another stop by Rampado with the left leg as she denies Newland there.
Nice play by Newland. She was sneaking in from behind the net, came out front with it.
Now we got an offside. Another look at the stop. Newland, no one around her. Rampado broke up the pass just a little bit, and I think that might have bought her some time on the save.
Yeah. Yeah, Rampado's real good with her stick around the blue paint crease area. If there's anything she could get her stick on, she certainly does it.
That's thrown across. It hit a skate. Price. Capel goes backwards with it. And now Larson down the middle off the stick of Buckvick. Turned right back around by the Huskies. Scribner. Cornelius. Ellie Anderson. Stolen away. Buckvick threw it off a skate. Gets it back. Keeps on trucking. Buckvick into the zone. Circle. Price, a long shot. Good block there by Cornelius. This time Price does elect to plate up the wall for Buckvick. Stick handling. Back to Price. She's met by pressure. Throws it to the middle. Phillip was there. And Phillip collides with Anderson, and the puck's out to center ice. Scribner runs into Larson. Stays on the puck. Scribner centering pass. That was Wolf, but she was kind of leaving the slot and couldn't steer anything on the puck. St. Cloud has opened up a 30-26 shot advantage here with 13:08 to go. Strong third period for the Huskies so far. We're giving them the lead. Now Severson gives it back to Phillip. Back to Severson. Phillip off on a change. Severson takes a shot, hit the skate of Ross. It'll be controlled by Wolf. Gives it away. Severson, backhand shot off the base of the net. And Wolf will work it to center on the pass for Savar. Cross corner dump. Borgery. She's tied up. Severson goes backwards with it. Nobody can really find it. Now Severson again. Can't clear the zone. Himlerova with a nice play at the line. But Erbinova steals it back for RPI. Wagner, stick handling to center. Penalty coming up as Wagner was upended. And another power play coming up here for RPI. It's going to be a trip. And that's what happens when you move your feet like Wagner did. A little bit of laziness there from the Huskies. That's Borgeray just kind of leaving her stick out there, and you can't do that.
Nope. Well, what RPI has to do is capitalize on one of these power plays. They've had a few opportunities, and in a game that's real tight, this is what you rely on, special teams.
It's a 5th power play chance for RPI. They're 0 for 4. They do have 12 shots on their first four power plays. There's a shot blocked. Over a third of their shots in this game have come when they've been on the power play. Erbinova off for blitz. Down low for Severson. Gotta credit Paluzny in the defense here for clearing stuff out. There's a long shot saved by Paluzny. Right back to blitz, and she fired it wide. It'll be cleared all the way down. Julia Blitz had 2 cracks at that. The Potomac, Maryland native, who I mentioned has 3 power play goals this year of her 4 total.
Those were relatively low shots compared to what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, she's usually picking out the top left corner from that right circle. Long pass here, connects to McCutcheon. She'll move it in. Hand it off for Hildner. Hildner, the freshman from Austin, Texas. As that puck leaves the zone. Seen some extended playing time in the lineup more recently. This is her 7th game. She does have 1 assist. It came last time out against Post. McCutcheon trying to stick handle through center. Cut off at the wall by Himlarova. And now carried in by Janke. Poked off her stick. Himlarova trying to clear. Met by McCutcheon. Puck pops in the air, and Larson will glove it down. Not much doing on this power play as it's sent down ice. This is going to be icing here on the Engineers with 27 seconds to go. Don't want to call it a wasted power play here, Coach, but RPI really hasn't had a whole lot set up after those first 2 initial shots they had.
No, and a lot of credit has to be given to St. Cloud State. They're doing a real good job keeping the shots to the outside and really not allowing RPI to penetrate the grade A scoring area.
See if RPI can get one more raw shot of this one-player advantage they have. Janke throws it cross ice right at the line, and it creates a chance the other way. Ross shorthanded, makes a move. Ross walking in. Oh, a stop by Rampado. Nifty move there by the blue liner Ross, who was looking for her first career goal. She's from Spirit River, Alberta. You wouldn't have known she doesn't have a goal yet by that move.
No, she's got some pretty good hands. Look at this.
Yeah.
Hello, see
Whoop.
ya. Keep control of it.
Rampado stays big, though, in the net.
Yeah, she does. Great angle, too.
For being 5'5", Amanda Rampado sure takes up a lot of the goal. And Ross found out on that chance. Penalty is about to expire. Price got put in a tough position there. Now blocks a shot. So penalty's over. As we play 5-on-5 here, halfway through the third. Price feeds it up the wall. Phillip can't clear. Borgery into the skates of Gentry. She flips it in. Emma Gentry with a great individual effort there. Beats Rampado for the goal. And it's 3-1.
Well, what a strong move here. She's on her forehand, but she's off the angle, so she's going to take it to her backhand, knowing she's going to pay the price. However, she stays real strong on the puck, real strong on her stick, and puts it in behind Rampado there.
So it is 3-1. Second goal of the game for Gentry. And 8th of the year. She leads the team. Now Gentry again, feeding it across, and a good stick there by Arbinova, or it could have been 4 in a hurry. See if the Engineers can respond. There's still plenty of time left. This puck is caught in someone's gear. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Finally played in deep. Newland will pick it up there. Finish center, gives it away. Kaiser couldn't get the shot away. Severson, a backhand, still loose, and it'll be cleared out to center ice.
That's too bad. Severson kind of got handcuffed there. You want a real quick shot on a transition turnover, but she couldn't get it off in time.
Yeah, it looked like the RPI might have been in business, but wasn't a great chance in the end. Now chance for a 2-on-1 maybe. Wagner walking in, feeds it across, pad save, loose puck, and we're going to get a stoppage here as a couple of Huskies ended up in the goal, but no puck. That was Taylor Lind with a good back checker. It would have been a clear 2-on-1.
Well, she's going to the net right now, defenseman's playing real strong on the puck carrier. And
yeah.
you could
That's a left winger.
Yeah, you could have almost called that interference.
Yeah, the puck wasn't there yet, right.
No.
But we will have a media stoppage here. 8:41. They say it was a good defensive play by Lind. And it keeps St. Cloud State from their 6th penalty of the game. Well, it would be 7th. There was those 2 coincidentals they had earlier. But no, Coach, 3-1 game. A good chance there for RPI on the counter.
Well, they're going to have to take some chances now offensively. Get the defense involved more in the play, whether it be in zone or breaking out. But they need everybody to be jumping in here and trying to get some shots. Traffic in front of the net. And it'll start right off this offensive zone face-off, I hope.
Foundation has partnered with RPI Athletics, working with local schools in Troy as part of the Shoot for the Stars for
St. Cloud State trying to keep the trend going in this all-time series of the home team not winning a game. Talked about at the top of the game, but St. Cloud State swept a 2-game series. Their only other trip here to Troy back in 2014.
Other out-of-town scores.
Yeah, give it to me.
Clarkson beat Maine, University of Maine, up in Orono.
Okay.
4-1. Princeton's down 2-0. 8 minutes left in the third to Northeastern.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And of course, what I mentioned earlier, Ohio State beating St. Lawrence in the Division I DC tournament, 5-2.
A lot of good women's hockey going on today. Those are some power teams going up against each other out of conference. Coming up on 8 minutes to go here in regulation. RPI down by 2. Race for the puck, and this will be icing as Kaiser was skating full speed trying to get to that one, but was not able to beat Skrdlova down the ice. Been a pretty even game shots-wise. You could point to the power play chances. There's a chance in front. Rampado makes the save. She was sprawling there. First time really seen her scrambling. She's usually in pretty good control. Puck was deflecting all over the place, though. There's a hit there on Hildner. And penalty's coming up. It's going to be a body check. Bit of a tough call. I think it looked like she was just standing her ground.
Yeah, I think she was just standing there. Hildner
ran into her.
Right
Yeah,
into her,
it didn't look good. No. I will say that. It was Westlow.
Well, Hildner's back out there, so that means she could take a check.
That was maybe a timeout here.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Timeout RPI with 7:40 left.
Here's another look at it.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Like I said, it just didn't look very good.
That'll stop you in your tracks every time.
So we'll see. There's 7:40 left. You don't think that Rampado's coming out of the net yet for a 6-on-4 potentially?
I think it's
the way things are going, right? It could spark something. It doesn't look like it because she's sitting in her net right now.
Yeah.
You think she'd be over at the bench already discussing things?
I think there was 5 minutes or less, maybe.
Okay.
And
let's look at Steve McDonald, head coach of the Huskies.
Yep, he's in his 3rd season.
Talking to Ross, who's a freshman.
And then longtime assistant. With him in that shot is Janelle Sergey. Won a national championship playing for Mark Johnson at the University of Wisconsin.
That's a good program, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Still is. Plenty of national teamers have come, both U.S. and Canada, to that Wisconsin program. Here is Blitz, a shot. That one's blocked. 6 power play for RPI. They're 0 for 5. Wagner, a shot up high. Save made, and that'll hop out of play. Paluzny has been rock solid here on these penalty kill chances. She's pretty tall. We talked about that, but took up the top part of the net there with her shoulder. Face off here, tied up on the dot. Blitz steps up, and Severson one-hands it to keep it alive at center, or in the zone rather, but now it's popped to center. Janke back for Erbinova. Magdalena stick handling, lost the puck, but luckily for her, Wagner was still back in good position to pick up the loose puck. Erbinova. Dumps it in. Sent around. Blitz ties it up at the wall. Poke free, kept alive by Janke, who just shoots it deep. Engineers don't have coverage there, and it's cleared all the way down. halfway through this 6th power play. And more importantly for RPI, just 6:38 to go. Down 3-1. Sent cross ice, tipped off the stick of Hildner, and the Engineers are way offside as McCutcheon lost track of what was going on there.
Yeah, that wasn't even close.
I think she just thought maybe the puck got dumped in and then looked up and Hildner had it. Face-off kicked ahead by Hildner, but cleared. Larson goes cross ice, snapped right back across. McCutcheon takes a look. RPI set the power play, 37 seconds to go on it. Larson fanned on the pass, gives it off to McCutcheon. McCutcheon all the way across, and too much heat on that. Papineau can't control, and it's back to neutral ice. McCutcheon has it knocked off her stick. Chopped at by Kaiser. RPI moves it in with 19. Quick shot, loose puck in the slot. That one hit the blocker of Paluzny. But again, her teammate's able to clear it out for her. The few times she has allowed rebounds, Huskies have been all over them.
Well, unfortunately, RPI was on a line change, and it was the forward that was changing. Otherwise, the forward would have been right on the doorstep for that rebound.
Kaiser bottled things up at the line. Now it's one-on-one as Cornelius moves her way in. Back to the point. Millwater. Penalties over, by the way. 0 for 6 now is RPI on the power plays. It's shot deflected on the try by Anderson. Cornelius again. Takes a long shot, and that one skips wide. Larson now tied up. Trying to dig it out of some skates there. There are 2 Huskies down there. Green kicks it to the corner. Picked up by Papineau. Clears to center. Millwater across. Shot in by Wiley. And it was actually on the second effort, and it put a couple of teammates offside. 4:49 to go, third period. 3-1 Huskies lead. Getting down to crunch time here. Chipped in to the RPI end. Dalby. Price had it poked away. Just kind of sat there at the side of the net. Rampado started to get worried, but it was played around behind. Lily Fries-Hansen kicks it to herself and shoots it up the wall for Phillip. Phillip on further. The breakout was slowed up by Weslow. And now here comes Price. Off a skate. You can see more RPI defense trying to join the attack here like Price did. That pass just off the mark. Borgery feeds it ahead. Alexander steps into one, a glove save. Paluzny didn't hold it. Engineers had one player waiting. That's the defender's dream, right, Coach? The puck just sliding out towards you at the point.
Definitely.
You just crank it.
Step into it, yep. That's called a silver platter.
Gentry shooting it wide. Lind. This will wrap around for Gentry. She's wrapped up by Alexander. 3.5 to go. Gentry twisting and turning, trying to get away from a couple of Engineers. It was both Alexander and Urbinova ended up defending her on the play. Savar backhands it in. Urbinova spins it up the wall. Waiting for it is Sperling. Peterson puts her head into it. Puck shot deep again. Huskies are fine with this. Broken up at the half wall. Sperling shoots it in. Bouncing puck will be gathered up by Urbinova. Engineers look to be a little bit out of gas here. Nice pass down low. Oh, what a goal!
Wow.
Yania Newland with a fancy move to make it 5-1 here. or 4, excuse me.
Well, here she comes again. This is another one on her backhand. Makes the move there to open up the legs and underneath for a 5-hole goal.
She had a goal taken away earlier in this period when her shot hit the crossbar and it was tapped in by Lind, but this one's all her. Although you have to give credit for the initial pass, which was also pretty nifty. A nice play all the way around by the Huskies to make it 4-1.
Well, you can tell that's the top line for St. Cloud. They've been in on almost every goal.
For sure. Lifted to the line. Larson keeps it in for a moment. Larson goes cross ice with it. Nice pass on the backhand saucer, and then Dalby ices it. Well, they wave it off. Kaiser. Larson for Price. Shot it off a skate. RPI has to circle back. Kaiser slams it in. See how the Engineers can finish this game. Just under 2 minutes left. Knowing that they'll be facing these same Huskies tomorrow. There's a long shot wide of Rampado. Price takes a look, plays it up the boards. Kept in along the wall by Scribner. Scribner trying to dig it out of some skates. Still Scribner, now Cornelius. Takes a shot and a glove stop by Rampado. Don't know how well she saw that, but she was able to make the glove snag. There was some traffic in front. Just snatched it off the top of her pad, it looked like in the end. And now it's forced to neutral ice for Hildner. Hildner makes a move into the slot. Jenke picks it up there. And now Cornelius to center ice. Good poke check there by Erbinova. Plays it back into the zone. Rihanna Jenke lines up a slap shot, and it flutters into the glove of Paluzny, and she'll hold on again. Well, you got to give RPI credit for at least the shots today. They've been even with St. Cloud this whole game. But Huskies have played well defensively, keeping those to outside of the grade A's.
This is the final minute of play in the period. Last minute of play.
1 minute left. Hildner leans on Ross. Puck comes free. Lily Fries Hansen. Good connection to center ice. That's broken up. And now puck cleared away. Militindo's a shot. Haven't seen much of her today, but getting a late shift in this game. That's Linja Militindos from Espoo, Finland. Sounds Greek, though. I can spot a Greek. Sent across to Larson. Long wrister. That took a deflection into the corner with 12 seconds. And it'll be iced here by the Huskies. Might get one more face-off here. 5.5 to go and a draw back down the other end. Coach, thoughts on this one? Husky kind of pulled away here in the third, but it was a pretty even game up to that point.
Yeah, I just think that if RPI could capitalize on some of their power play opportunities, it might be a little bit different. And, you know, special teams is always a big part of a game.
Bouncing puck. McCutcheon trying to find it. And it's swept to the corner. That'll do. Huskies score the last 4 goals of this game after the Engineers open the scoring back in the second to take a 4-1 victory. These two teams will be back at it tomorrow afternoon. Another 3 o'clock puck drop. We hope you join us then. Coach, final thoughts before we get to that game, but men's hockey as well here tonight.
You don't know. I thought, like you say, it was a pretty evenly played game. But you know what? Another one tomorrow. They'll take a look at the game film and see where they can. RPL will take a look at the game film, see where they can sharpen up in areas, and we'll see you here tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock.
With the win, the Huskies improved to 5-7-1 overall. The Engineers dropped to 5-11-0. And as Coach mentioned, we'll be back here tomorrow for our entire RPI TV crew. For a lot of them made the trip back to campus for this game. We thank all those folks for doing that, for the great coverage of RPI hockey. And for Dan Frigid, I'm Perry Lascaris. We once again thank you for watching today's game. Your final score from the Houston Fieldhouse was St. Cloud State 4 and RPI 1. You've been watching live coverage of RPI hockey on RPI TV and ESPN.